Good morning. We're glad you're joining us again today to talk about God. If you remember last week, we talked about Nehemiah and how he built the wall. Today, we're going to talk about a person named Esther and how God puts us just where we need to be. He put you here with us this morning. He has a reason for that. You go to church at Highland Village with us for a reason. You live in your neighborhood for a reason. Sometimes God gives us a specific job for a reason. We don't always like what God gives us or even understand where God puts us. Sometimes we get discouraged because maybe we're too small or too young to do the job that we want to do. But we have to remember that God has a special place for us. Right now and every day, He puts us where He wants us. Sometimes God even uses the fact that we're small or young to do a job that nobody else can do. We're going to start this morning by watching a video, and we'll be right back to talk about it.
Come on, Dad. Make her hurry up. I'm ready to go.
She'll come out when she's ready. Yes! Macy's here! The day can begin! Buccaneer Adventure Island, here we come!
Yay! Buccaneer Adventure Island!
Maisie! I know this is your first time here, but you're gonna love it! Oh, this is my favorite place as a kid. Come on. Where should we start? Oh, look, there's the Aqua Adventure or the Octorama. Oh no. We've got to start with the Buccaneer Blast Off!
Go ahead. Oh, sorry, kid. You're too small.
What? Next. Oh no, she's tall enough.
No, you gotta be as tall as the top feather.
Well, that's confusing.
How's that confusing?
It's fine. Look, I'm her dad, and she's...
Sorry, Pops, no exceptions.
See you later, shrimp.
Next. Go ahead. Watch out for the anchor there. Go ahead. Too small, y'all. Next.
But...
No exceptions, y'all. Next.
Catch you later, baby gator.
Next. Next.
Aqua Adventure.
Yay!
Aqua Adventure, yeah!
Yeah, go ahead, kid. Nope.
But...
Nope.
Come on, Dad.
Next. Next. Here.
Thank you.
Yep.
Could we get two... can we get two popcorns and, let's get two super splash size lemonades, please. Two island size lemonades?
Can't do it, Pops.
Small?
You can have a kitty-sized island lemonade.
Honey, don't spill.
Go. Next.
Hi,
What?
Wendell.
What?
Towering Inferno, sweet!
Uh-oh.
You forgot the keys again, didn't you, Dad? Great. What are we gonna do now?
The doggy door!
You may be tiny, but you're really safe today.
God puts us where He wants us, even someone little like me.
In our video, Macy couldn't do much at the amusement park. But if she wasn't so small, she wouldn't have been able to fit through the doggy door and help her family. God puts us where He needs us to do important things. Just like in our Bible story today. Today we're going to learn about Esther. Esther was a woman who God put in a special place to be married to a maybe not so nice king. And God gave her the job of queen. So God put her in a special spot. In our story today, God's people, the Jewish people, were in exile. Exile means that they were forced to go live in a different country. In their case, that was the country of Persia. And while they were there, the king of Persia wanted to find a wife. So he set up a beauty contest to pick a wife. He wanted to pick the most beautiful woman in the land. And he ended up choosing a Jewish woman named Esther. Esther was not of the same faith. She didn't believe the same things as the king. And Esther maybe wasn't really sure about being forced to marry the king. He wasn't exactly the nicest guy. And his former wife, well, we don't want to talk about what happened to her. So Esther wasn't really sure. In fact, at the advice of her cousin Mordecai, Esther didn't even tell the king that she was a Jewish person. It was risky and scary, but God had Esther just where He wanted her. Meanwhile, a guy named Haman was plotting to kill all the Jewish people. Not good for Esther. When the news came out, when the news came out, Mordecai told her, he said, just because you're in the king's house, don't think you're going to get to escape. If you remain silent, then the Jewish people will get deliverance from another place. But your father's family and you will all perish. And who knows that maybe God put you here for just a time as this. Esther was made queen at just the right time for the Jewish people. But what could she do? She had to do something about the bully named Haman who was trying to kill all the Jewish people. Could she ask the king for help? The king didn't even know she was Jewish. It's like asking for help when someone's trying to hurt you or hurt someone you love. But since we know that God puts us where He needs to be, let's see how He used Esther in her position as queen. Esther needed to talk to the king about what Haman was doing. But there was a catch. A really big catch. Back then, if anyone entered the king's inner court without being invited, the king could have that person killed. Esther was so scared. So she told Mordecai, go gather all of the Jewish people who are in Susa and fast for me. Don't eat or drink for 3 days. And I will fast too. And at the end of the 3 days, I will go to the king, even though it's against the law. And if I perish, if I die, she said. So she had to do something that was hard and scary, but she prayed about it and she did it anyway. Finally, it was time for her to face the king. The next few minutes would decide if Esther lived or died. And if she died, the Jewish people were doomed. Esther went in to the king's hall, and when she did, The king saw her and he held out his gold scepter that was in his hand. So she approached and she touched the end of his scepter, and that was how he told her it was okay for her to come and talk to him. She had a chance to save the Jewish people. She told the king, she said, if it's in your will, come and let's have a banquet together. So they prepared a banquet. My girls are going to help me prepare a banquet this morning, just like maybe the one she prepared. So Esther prepares the banquet. She laid out all the fancy food and dishes. And then she sat down, and the king and Haman and all of the people came for the banquet. And while she was at the banquet, the king asked her, he said, what do you want? Now, Esther, she told him, she said, well, if it be your will, come back tomorrow and let's have a banquet again and bring Haman with you. So they left. And then they came back the next day. And the king again asked her, he said, what do you want? And Queen answered, if I have found favor with you, your majesty, and it pleases you, grant me my life. This is my petition. And spare my people. This is my request. For I and my people have been sold to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated. If we had been merely sold as slaves, I would have kept quiet, because no such distress would justify disturbing the king. She told the king that Haman was being a bully, and he had made it so that all of the Jewish people would be killed. The king punished Haman and gave Esther all of Haman's property. But the problem was, even with Haman out of the way, people were still trying to hurt the Jewish people. The Persians were planning to hurt and kill the Jews. So the king made a new law that allowed the Jews to unite and fight back. God puts us just where we need to be. Because Esther was the queen, she was able to prepare a banquet, and she was able to stop Haman and get a law that the Jewish people could unite and defend themselves. Now the king was on their side, and it worked. The Jewish people won. Esther saved the lives of many Jewish people. She couldn't have done that if God hadn't put her in the position of queen. She was just where she was supposed to be, and so she celebrated. Just like Esther, God puts us where He wants us to be, and He can use us no matter how small we are. Have you ever seen a line of dominoes that have been lined up and then they fall? Let's watch this video and then we'll come back to talk about it. domino was put in just the right place to make all of those cool things happen. And all it took was one little touch, and everything fell into place. God puts us in just the right place, and He can use us to do amazing things, just like that one little domino did amazing things in that video. God can use us to do amazing things. I'm so glad God put you here at the church with us to be friends with all of us. And I hope you come back next week as we learn about another character in the Bible.